Hey everyone, it's Pastor Tabitha again, and I'm here to talk with you guys about this upcoming Sunday's lectionary passage. This week, we're going to be focusing on 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 1 through 13. Paul is writing this letter to the Corinthians, who are newer believers in their faith, and they're trying to figure out how in the world do we show people love in our community, right? Especially because they themselves in the church couldn't figure out how to get along. So, I am going to read the passage today because I think it's just important, really important for us to soak in and see if we can understand a little bit deeper. So here we go. It says, the question keeps coming up about whether or not we should eat meat that has been offered up to idols. Should you attend meals where such meat is served or not? Sometimes we think we know all we need to answer these kinds of questions, but really only God can have these answers. We never really know enough until we recognize that God alone knows it all. Some people say that idols are not real, which is true. There is nothing to them. They're just statues. There is no God other than our one God. There is only one God the Father and only one Jesus Christ. Through them, everything exists, and through them, we receive life. If food is sacrificed to an idol, it means nothing because idols are not real, so the sacrifice has no meaning. But not everyone thinks like this because not everyone chooses to know God. Some people still think of the meat as being sacrificed to an idol, so they won't eat it because they think it is sinful. But if a food is not what brings us into a relationship with God, it does not make us good or bad if we eat it. But God does care when you use your freedom in a way that causes another believer who's still weak in their faith to choose their old ways of thinking and to be drawn away from God. For instance, say you flaunt your freedom by going to a party thrown in honor of idols, where the main course of meat is sacrificed to idols. Isn't there great danger if someone is still struggling over this issue? For someone who looks up to you as knowledgeable and mature that sees you going into that party, the danger is that they will become terribly confused, maybe even to the point of getting mixed up in what his conscience is telling him is wrong. Christ gave up his life for that person. Wouldn't you be willing at least to give up going to a free dinner for someone who has problems eating where you want to go? Because as you say, it doesn't really make a difference. But it does make a difference if you hurt your friend terribly, risking their relationship with God. When you hurt your friend, you hurt Christ. A free meal here and there isn't worth the cost of even one person who doesn't have, of even one person who doesn't have a good relationship with God. So don't go to these idol tainted meals if there's any chance it will cause another Christian to have problems. Okay, so that's a paraphrase. That's not exactly what it says, but I think it's a good paraphrase. It's a good way for us to really remember that we need to slow down. You see, Paul or the Bible tells us that everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial, right? So we can do anything. We're allowed to do anything. But just because I can run and jump off a cliff doesn't mean I should, right? Not everything is good, right? And it's not just if it benefits me, by the way. Not everything that I do is beneficial to everyone. And so Paul, when he's writing this letter to the Corinthians, he's writing it to the strong believers in their faith, mind you. He's writing it to the ones that they're solid. They want to walk with Jesus, they pray, they know what they're doing, and they want to figure out, how do we love our community better? How do we love our church better? And so Paul is addressing them, and Paul is saying we love them better by being mindful about what we do. We love people better by being mindful about what we do. How we act matters. What we eat matters. What we drink matters. Yes, we can participate in anything. But me going to this movie, what if there's somebody who watches me go to this movie and they're like, wait, I thought that people that loved God didn't watch that kind of stuff. Should we be walking into that theater watching that kind of stuff too? If it's going to cause them to question whether or not um, what walking with God looks like. Or what if there's a well-known bar in town and this new Christian is recovering from alcoholism, and so they see us go to that bar and we might only be eating food, but they don't see that because they associate that place with a place of drunkenness. And so they start to question, well, wait, I thought Christians didn't go to bars and get drunk. Maybe we're not there drinking, but it causes them to question, what does it mean to walk with God? It causes them to stumble because they thought that drinking was bad. And for them, drinking is bad. But they associate those dark places with their own darkness, even if we're just there eating food. So should we be there knowing, or should we even take them to a place of alcohol, right? What I eat. So for somebody, I love ice cream, right? In fact, I struggle if somebody offers ice cream to say no to it because I just love it. Even if I know it's a horrible idea. Okay? So somebody who loves a certain food, but they're trying not to eat it, then maybe we shouldn't take them to a place where they can't go, right? Maybe we shouldn't take them to a place where it's going to cause them to eat something they shouldn't eat. Or even so far as if we know somebody's allergic to something, we shouldn't take them to a place that's going to serve something that could kill them, right? What may be meaningless to us because we know it's not harmful to us can mean a lot to somebody else. And so we need to pause and we need to think, what are my actions saying or doing? We need to be mindful of how what we say comes across because for me, sarcasm, right? What we may say is a joking quip for somebody who's been bullied and teased, that could be hurtful to them. That could tell them, oh man, I thought they were my friend, but they're going to say stuff like that about me. It can cause a lot of damage there. So we need to be mindful. Am I speaking life or am I speaking death? Because if our words aren't speaking life, they're speaking death. And if our words are speaking death, then we're sinning against that person we're saying them to. Because anything that we do to cause harm to another person, to cause harm to ourselves, or to cause harm to God is a sin. And so, is knowingly taking somebody to a place that serves alcohol when they're a recovering alcoholic a sin? Yes, because you're putting them at a place of temptation, right? Is knowingly taking somebody who struggles with their weight to an ice cream shop sin? Yes, because it's going to put them into a place that causes them to go somewhere they shouldn't go, right? Is knowing that um that going to a movie that might have a little bit of garbage in it, while that garbage may not hurt us, but taking somebody or going to a movie with somebody who's really affected by visual imagery is taking them to that place sin? Yes, because it damages them. It causes them to go to a place of sin. So we are sinning by doing that. And so we stop. We look at this passage. We evaluate ourselves and we ask ourselves, am I being mindful of my walk with Christ and how what I do impacts those that are around me. And if those that are around me don't see Christ through me, I need to change my mindset so that they do. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you next week.